All right, and we're live, everybody. And I forgot to do something, but it's okay. No one's actually. Oh, we've got a few people on right now. I'm going to put on some music because we can't properly. And check this out. Hang on. Where are
I'm excited.
I know I should have had this ready up front, which I did have it ready. Okay, now we need to go back to this.
There it is.
Yeah, you got some music. So welcome to our live stream. Now that we have music, it sounds almost professional. But seriously, today's going to be fun. There's obviously 4 of us here, and normally it's just Melissa and I and a PowerPoint or I don't know, whatever we're sharing. And so this week we're actually talking about how do you get a job? How do you actually get hired? And this is way too loud for me. I can't hear a single thing. Let me turn that down a little bit. So we are talking about how do you get a job? What's going on in the local job markets? We are talking about interview tips. We're talking about the difference between people that find jobs when they graduate and people that don't. And it's just going to be some fun chitter chatter with Cress and Dominique who are joining us. But first, let me just explain a couple of our promotions going on. Right now, we've got our big promotion is the, what is it called? Dance Party and Bob. We know Bob today, Jay. We need to bring Bob back. Each time we keep getting asked, or maybe I just keep bringing it up. Bob will make an appearance again soon, I'm sure. But we've got a free laptop promotion on. It's really easy to find out about it. Check that out, myaolcc.com/laptop. And I'll just tell you what it is. You don't actually have to go to that URL to find it out. When you start a program, you get a laptop. That's just what it is. So if you are a current student and you've got nice.
There it is.
There it is.
Free laptop. If you are a current student and you've got a friend or a family member who may be looking for a fresh start, refer them to us and you'll get $500 and they will get a free laptop. If you're about to start a program, well, you probably already know that you're going to get a free laptop when you start. So that's the first promotion, the free laptop. The second promotion is we've got a free coding class coming up. And Melissa, I forgot to grab the link. Can you put that in the comments again?
Yes, I will. I will hunt it down.
Yeah, you can hunt it down and then put the link to our free coding class. It is a 1-hour workshop where by the end of the workshop, you will have coded an actual web page. So if you've got friends or you know someone who's like, you know what, maybe I should get into technology, this is the way that they find out if they're going to like it. It's totally free. You get to see what coding's all about, and you'll, by the end of it, again, create a web page, but you'll be like, oh man, this is awesome. I want to do coding, and I want to go take a program and get a job in coding that pays like entry level, I don't know, 50, 60K entry level. It's pretty good. Or I hate coding and I never want to do it. This is the workshop to find out if you want to do that. So that is the free coding class, February 27th. It's a Sunday afternoon, and it should be a 1-hour workshop. You'll actually be given a software program from the instructor to download so you can follow along actually coding. So that's pretty neat. Next promotion, I've already referenced it, but if you've got friends, family, colleagues, anybody who's like, I want a better job and more money, refer them to us and you can get a $500. So it doesn't matter. You don't have to be a student or a graduate. If you're just coming across this, you can refer somebody to us and get $500. By the way, if you are watching right now, there's across all the different platforms, we've got this streaming on our different local Facebook pages and on YouTube. Give a like to this video because a lot of our Facebook pages are brand new. And we used to have all of this under one Facebook page in Edmonton, and we wanted to make sure that we're better serving our local community. So we've now split it up. So there is a good chance that you might be the only one watching on your actual Facebook page because it's new. So if you give it a like, and if you comment on the video today, that allows it to reach more people because it tells Facebook, yes, we got some likes and hearts.
Yay.
That tells Facebook that we exist and that something cool is happening. So do that. And the other thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to comment and participate because there's a chance to win $25. But first, let me tell you what we're doing today, because that'll impact how you comment and what you comment. So we are doing a panel discussion. We've got, is it 5 questions? 5 questions.
Yep.
I think that we're going to be asking Cress and Dominique, we'll introduce them in a second, about actually getting a job. What do we call this? The art of getting a job?
The art of getting hired. Yeah.
Art of,
Yeah.
I should know that. The art of getting hired is what we're talking about today with Cressida and Dominique, and they are experts in this based on their roles at Academy of Learning. Likewise, I'll probably talk too much because my background, I spent 8 years in recruitment, so I know a thing or two about getting hired and finding a job. So I'll participate as well. But we're doing those 5 questions, and then at the end, we're going to do a live Q&A. So if you have any questions about how do you get hired, about what do you do on an interview, how to write a resume, how to present well, what's going on with digital, any question that you have, put that in the comments, and Melissa's going to keep track of those. Right, Melissa?
I will keep
and then at the
track
end, we'll do some live question and answer to finish things off so we can actually answer your questions. And by asking a question in the comment section, that will get you entered to win the $25 this week. And Melissa, do you remember who won last week?
No. I'm sorry.
We always announce it. Where do we announce it? Do we announce it on Facebook and Instagram after?
We do.
These are real contests, I swear.
Yeah, I promise we have been giving money away. It has been a thing.
It's an Amazon gift card that Melissa will send you if you're the winner. And does that count for the coding class? Does what count for the coding class, Jay? Sorry. I don't know what you're asking about, and I can't see the comment. My thing is there. I can't see. I won the first time. Yes, you did. Does this count as a question? Oh, I see what you're doing there. You're asking a question about asking a question. Okay. Yeah. Any question? No. In order to enter, you have to ask a question about getting a job that will actually answer. So that is how you, and there might be another way to get an extra entry for our $25 Amazon gift card at the end. So you have to stay tuned to the end to see if you can get an extra shot at winning. But anyway, I've talked way too much. Let's jump into our panel discussion. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to welcome Cress and Dominique. So welcome. Woo!
Hi.
Yeah. So obviously, I should introduce myself for anybody who's new watching. My name's Jamie. I work on the marketing team. Melissa also works in marketing. Cress is our. Well, I'll let you introduce yourself in a second, Cress. But Cress is representing Calgary and Red Deer today. Dominique represents Medicine Hat. And I will let the two of you introduce yourselves, and then we'll get into the questions. So whoever wants to go first, just start. Tell us, who are you? Why are you here? Who are you?
Go ahead, Chris. Okay, so my name's Cress. I'm student support for Calgary and now Red Deer. I've been with AOL now for 6 years. And as
How long?
6 years this year.
6 years. Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't actually know that. I should have known that.
And my job is brilliant. My job's student support. So once you've been in admissions and signed up and start taking a program with you, that's when I look after you and make sure everything's good. You come to me with anything and everything, and I guide you through your program and your learning time with us. And yeah.
And then when I graduate, I just say goodbye and I never talk to you again?
No. I've still got some of my children from 4 years ago contacting me and saying, hey. So, yeah, when you start with Academy of Learning, unfortunately, if you're in Calgary or Red Deer, you become one of my children. So I make sure that you're all okay and looked after. And I was just chatting with a student that graduated 4 years ago. She just wanted to say hi and vent, and yeah, she gave me a call and she vented, and that's that. So I get one of the best jobs, I think, as well in my role of presenting every student with the diploma. That is amazing. It's a really great feeling, especially if I've known the student for a long time and I know they've gone through some issues while coming to school. Just seeing the look on the face of absolute joy of getting that diploma is fantastic. And I always end up crying, so I've always got tissues. So it's just great. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's such a valuable role to our organization because it's not just like, I don't know, whenever I've always thought about college, I'm like, it's all on me. and no one's there to help me and no one cares. And we actually have a role specifically designed just to help people and just to support. And I think it's cool. Whenever I talk, I always tell you this, everything that comes out of your mouth is gold, Cress, because you're just like, I love my graduates, and like 4 years and they're still wanting to talk to you and say what's up.
He just called out of the blue and just needed to check in and let me know how her children are doing and growing up and at school. And yeah, it were really nice. I get quite a lot of those. It's really cool. And
nice.
It's good to know that they actually still think of me and letting me know about big events in their lives. And yeah, that's good.
Yeah, wonderful. Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on today. Dominique, who are you?
Oh, who am I?
Yeah,
well,
we're going to go philosophical today. I'm just kidding.
I appreciate all three of you. And Crez, it's probably the big topic during my conversations with students that are coming in is the student support. So I work out of the Medicine Hat office. And if y'all didn't know, Medicine Hat is Canada's sunniest city. So just a little bit of trivia there for you. So my role here is admissions. So when a student or someone's looking at our Facebook page or Instagram or website and they say, hey, I want some more information. I'm one of, I think, 6 or 7 advisors in Alberta through our campuses and through our network. And we answer the call if they're calling for a Medicine Hat location. And really the role is to, hey, what program were you thinking of? What are you doing right now? How can we match up if you're wanting a change in your life and you don't want to do what you're doing right now anymore, whether you're at a job, you don't want to be a stay-at-home mom anymore, your kids are in school, you want to get back into the workforce. Maybe the job that you have right now, you can't physically do anymore, or you can't, maybe there's no room for you anymore. You got laid off, that sort of thing. So what's the change? What made you click that button and go, hey, I need to speak to Dominique, right? Or I need to speak to Rebecca, or I need to speak to Tanya, or whoever. So we kind of get through that. And then trying to also marry up we have lots of adult learners in our campuses. So we try to marry up what experience that you currently have up to date. So whether you've worked in a restaurant or wherever you are, with what you really want to do. So when we kind of start to establish that and go, okay, this is what I'm hearing. Is that correct? This is really, maybe you had your idea on graphic design. Well, have you ever thought of web design and graphic design so that you can kind of marry those two up? And maybe you had a business, or maybe you had, a career that was lined up with that, but you always had to contract that out. So now you can do it yourself. So we try to make that happen so that you can easily move into a program. Now, and then of course, our organization is awesome. We have student support. You don't get a diploma alone. It's just not possible sometimes. So you are able to reach out to student support. If you need financing, we can help you look at different areas of financing, whether it's a student loan, or we recommend that maybe you have an RSP or an RESP that you can tap into. So we try to make this process, this transition is huge. It's a huge part of their lives, right? So we try to make that transition easier to grapple with. And then once they're in, then we know that we have the rest of the team to help them out along the way.
Yeah, wonderful. So with all that, again, thank you for joining. And we won't make Melissa do the same thing. We do marketing. But Melissa, you've got our first question for Cress and Dominique. So why don't you take it away, and then whoever wants to answer. There's no formal way to go about this.
Okay, so the first question that we have is kind of about the local job markets, because if you look at the news, you can see that some people are saying that there's no work, or if you talk to your friends and they can't find a job. And then the other side of everything is people who are finding jobs, or everyone is looking for work. So there's the message of what's going on actually out there is a little bit confusing to people who might be looking for a job. So the question is, what are we actually seeing? Are our students actually finding work? And like, do we offer programs that are in demand in the market? Like, how does that all work? I know that was like 3. I'm sorry. I just speedballed those right at you.
How many questions were those, Melissa? There's like 9.5 questions.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, are jobs available? We'll simplify. Are jobs available? Is that a thing? Are people
Yes.
getting hired?
Jobs are available. I've just come out of an exit interview with a graduate in Red Deer, and he's actually got 2 job offers.
2.
He's actually waiting. He's doing an extra qualification at the moment now, which is taking in a couple of weeks. So he's going to wait until he's got that extra qualification. This is an external qualification. It's not with us. They've done an insurance program with us, which they get the level 1 with. He's doing his level 2, but he's got 2 job offers now already. So yes, there's jobs. I had another Red Deer student yesterday graduate and did their exit interview, and they're working in the field. They got a job straight out of the practicum. So he was doing his practicum there, and they offered him a job. So I am so proud of our students in Red Deer and Calgary. They're doing amazing. There is jobs out there. There is a demand. In some areas more than others, obviously, but they're working. My graduates in the last 5 months have all started work in the field, which is like
Dominique, why do you think there's this understanding, or why do you think there's this impression that jobs aren't available? Or maybe you're not even seeing that, but I keep, and Melissa alluded to it, I keep hearing people being like, oh, the unemployment rate and can't find jobs. And I mean, Cress just said that's just not true.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, there's definitely always going to be a sentiment like that. I don't know. I heard that 6 years ago when there was tons of jobs. There's no jobs out there. So I think it's a matter of, again, really focusing in on what you want to do and really doing your research. Like, what company do you want to work for? Let's strive for that. Let's phone them up. Let's say, hey, are you looking? This is what I'm doing right now. This is what I'm studying. So the fact that they say that there's no jobs out there is really, we don't see it, I guess. I think from the outside looking in, maybe into the job market, you're going to see that. But I mean, we've had a change in Alberta, for sure. The oil and gas industry is not what it was. There's still pockets of that. There's still IT needed for that. But that transition comes with jobs. It's not like the oil and gas has just dropped off and then nothing has taken its place. There's some things that are happening. And the fact that we are a career college, we kind of keep tabs on what's available and what's going on. And in terms of our programs, they line up with the Alberta skills for 2030. They line up for the next decade, what is needed in this province. So that's the cool part of it, is that there's no real fluff in our programs in terms of, well, you could do this, but you're not going to get a job. So why would we offer it? So all our programs have that, some more than others, that have better job opportunities than others. For instance, right now in Medicine Hat, I mean, all over Alberta, the healthcare field is one of the top areas. So RHCA, healthcare aides, really popular program. And they are getting hired like right off their practicum because they're so needed. Medical office assistants, same thing. There's doctor's offices, specialist offices, hospitals. They all need more medical office assistants, so they're getting hired. So the healthcare field is huge. Accounting, big. big time in accounting. So we have those job stats that we show to students as well. So yeah.
Yeah, there's two things you brought up that I like. The one is that I'll just explain for anybody who doesn't know. So in order for us to offer a program, we have to prove there's demand for it in the market. Because as a private career college, the only way we keep a program is if people actually get jobs. And so anytime we have a new program, we have to go do employment industry service surveys and stuff to validate and say to the Alberta government, we need to offer this program because employers demand it. And likewise, we have to report back on how many of our graduates actually get jobs. And if they're not getting jobs, we can't keep the program. So there's that component that you mentioned, Dominique. But the other thing that I'll just share is I used to work in the staffing industry. I think I've already mentioned that. And I used to get calls all the time being like, how come there's no jobs on your website? And I go to your website and I only see like 2 jobs that you're posting. And oftentimes it was because why would I post a job when I don't need to? So if I know the employer and I know the candidates, because that's how, I don't need to post a job. And so if you're looking on Indeed, that's not the full picture. So every time someone posts a job on these job boards, it costs money. If I'm an employer right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my network and try and hire before having to pay $500, $1,000, $2,000 to post a job on the job board. The question is, how do you connect with those employers? And for instance, you're not going to see a lot of the healthcare aid jobs that Dominique just mentioned because they hire straight out of practicum. They don't need to post. And in many cases, when employers are looking to hire an accounting professional or a community service worker or a PC support tech, a lot of the programs we offer, they're not posting, they're calling us and we're sending them graduates and they're getting hired without you ever even seeing it. So sometimes it's a matter of perspective. And for a lot of people, it's like, how do I get my foot in the door? And that's, again, that's another component of like Cress's role in student support, is to help people get their foot in the door by developing relationships. And we've got other people that develop our practicum sites and all that. So thanks for sharing on that. The next question we have, and Cress, you already shared a couple of these, but do you have a favorite grad story or something that you've seen recently?
I had a recent student in Calgary. She's recently graduated, I think last week it was. And she contacted us to let us know that she's actually working for a big non-profit organisation. And she's starting at just short of $29 an hour. It's $28.75.
Entry level.
And that's entry level.
That's
because
like
she's
$55,000.
She's got the qualification, and it is a CSW program she's graduated from, but our CSW instructor is amazing, and she finds extra free certifications that will be asked for in that field, and she tells you the top 4 to take, and again, they're free. Anybody can do them. You can go online and do them. And the amount of students that have come back to us and said, oh, they asked if I'd done my brain story training, and I have. They were really impressed that I'd done my brain story training. I've done my Indigenous training. It's fantastic. And our instructor went out there and found these courses that are going to add to our students' toolbox for when they do go for an interview. And she got hired, and she, like I said, she's just short of $29 an hour, which is amazing. So proud of her. Absolutely fantastic. So
yeah, I love hearing those stories. And we're gonna have to reach out and connect with that person.
Yeah,
it's just so cool. Like to think, like, we always talk about how you can go from minimum wage to a better job. And so minimum wage is $15 an hour. Yeah. That's almost double. And how long is the CSW program? How long is that community service program?
The community service worker with addiction she took, so that's 51 weeks. So just short of a year, yeah.
Yeah, so
and
go from
working in a field.
Yeah, we're not saying necessarily that everyone's making minimum wage, but the idea is you could be, and you go to school. You could be working minimum wage while going to school, and all of a sudden double your income. That's pretty.
Education's good. Yeah, education will get you to somewhere where you want to be. It's the first step, And it's a scary step, don't get me wrong. Coming back to school as an adult is scary. Coming back to school as an adult with a student loan is even scarier. And thinking then when I finish my course, I've got to find a job and am I going to be able to pay this student loan back? It's scary, but they do get jobs. They come, they learn, they graduate, they get jobs, and they pay the student loan back. And it's fantastic. I've got a student from a few years ago. She came and again did the CSW program, and she wants to take it further. So she's at university. She graduates this year. She did a social work degree.
Nice.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's
And
great.
she was a single mom, wanted to go back into work. So she's now, she graduates this year from University of Calgary. So, yeah.
Nice. Hey, how about you, Dominique? Any cool stories out of Medicine Hat?
Well, I've only been here like about 6 months, I guess.
Really? Is that it? No way. No way.
Since last July.
Still a newbie.
So I'm still a newbie. So nobody, like everybody that I've enrolled hasn't graduated yet. But
Oh, that's fair.
that's fair. But I have some great stories from our medical office assistant instructor, Elaine. She's amazing. She has a good network of people in the community. She's an RN herself. And it's like she'll come in my office and she'll go, "Oh, this person just messaged me," and it's just so heartwarming because they had, it's not that they struggled through the program, but they were so good in the program and reached out when they needed help, and there was days where like you're just talking to them, you got this, you're gonna do this. She gets them a practicum and they just can't believe how good they are. Right?
Yeah.
They're just so like, wow, I actually know this stuff. Like, so they're so thankful, and there's jobs. Like they're so thankful they got a job. They're not, they may have gotten minimum wage before, and maybe like $16 or $17 an hour, and now they're making 22 to 25. Like, wow, right? So those stories come fast and furious from Elaine all the time.
I think I interviewed her.
So passionate, just like Cheryl and CSW. Like they're so passionate about their industry.
Yeah,
they're so passionate about what they offer and what we offer and what that program entails. That they know good people when they see them. They know good students when they see them, and they go, wow, like there's the practicum. He's amazing. He's a good doctor. She's a good specialist. Whatever it is, and they just get hired right away.
Yeah.
So those,
I only have like borrowed stories right now.
I interviewed Elaine in September, and I'm gonna get Melissa to ask the next question. And while she asks it, and you guys are answering, I'm gonna go find that YouTube video and I'll post it in the comments. But before Melissa, you ask the next question, I'll just put a reminder out. If you want to win $25. The way you enter is ask a question, and we're going to answer these questions at the end. I think we got 3 more for Cressida and Dominique, and then whatever questions you guys ask, we will answer live. You ask a question, you get entered to win $25. So if you haven't already asked, ask, and we will get to them at the end. But yeah, go ahead, Melissa, and I'm going to find that YouTube video, and I'll share it in the comments.
And I promise this will just be one question, not 10. And I think we've kind of touched on it a little bit so far, but it is how specifically in your roles do you help people actually find jobs? Like, what does that look like, even if it's a little different from student to student?
As student support, we do quite a lot. There is a course on every program we offer called Job Search and Resume Writing. So we ask you to write a cover letter and a resume, send it to student support. So we look over it. We might make some comments. It might be fantastic. It might be absolutely not very good because you've never wrote a resume before, and we might have to redo it all together and just go through it with you and sit down and say, hey, well, this and this and this. And a lot of people, for example, stay-at-home mum, they don't think they've got any skills because they haven't been in work for so long. but they've got lots of transferable skills as a single mum, or well, as a parent in general, not a single mum. As a parent, you have lots of transferable skills. You've got multitasking because you've got children or a child. They may have sports that they need to attend. They have to get up for school. They have to be ready. They've got dance class. They've got hockey. So you've got to multitask and pay attention to detail and be able to manage your time very efficiently. They're skills that are looked for in the job market as well. So back in the UK, I wrote a program for basically interview skills, job search and things like that. And we put together this document that's called Can You Credit It? And it's just basically giving you everyday tasks like baking a cake. So what skills are involved in baking a cake? You've got lots. You've got to follow instructions. You've got to be precise and accurate, time sensitive. So, and that's just baking a cake. And there's lots of day-to-day scenarios like that, and it's just getting you to think out of the box. So we help them with that. There's also a lot of free, Alberta Works offer free workshops for job search. They call it the secret job market. There's also one for resume writing. There's also one for interviews. And I always send them that link. They are free. You just sign up for them and attend them. They have been virtual, but I think now they're coming back to in class as well. But I send all my graduates that link as well, just in case they need extra help. I'm really bad in interviews. How I've ever got a job in my life, I do not know. But I've managed it, so I'm lucky, I guess. They see something in me, so that's good. But I'm really bad at interviews, as I say, and I do everything right, and I still forget everything when I get in there.
I think I'm the same. I understand.
I'm terrible.
And then you get hired, so it works.
Let's go. Yeah.
It's just I researched.
You shouldn't be interviewing anymore, by the way.
Yeah,
You have a job.
Horrendous.
We're good.
No,
Yeah,
but I'm just. But it's like, yeah. So they are really good at giving you good tips. But as I said, I'm really bad at interviews, so I can't really give you good tips. But I send all our graduates those and get them to go to them. They're free. They're on Alberta Works, and yeah, I can even post the link. I think if you need that. No,
Sure.
I can't post the link.
Yeah,
I can't post
you can send it to Melissa. She'll put it in.
Yeah, I'm at Red Deer. I haven't got everything with me.
Oh, gotcha. Well, we will send Melissa the link anyway, and we'll post it on social media tomorrow or something.
Definitely, yeah.
Perfect.
Well, I think, as far as the, like the tips, that was the question, right? Interview tip.
It was like the process of helping someone find a job.
So
yeah, your role is a little bit different because you're right at the front end.
Yeah,
it is. It's very different. Just from my background, I mean, it's going to people like Chris, and those links are awesome because a lot of people don't know about them, right?
No, they don't
at all. So, and it doesn't hurt to hit a staffing agency and go, okay, so what are some of the things I should be looking at? And they probably have a website with some quick tips on job searching. But one of the things I do tell the students that do come in and enroll is really start looking at those jobs or those companies that you want to work for or that have this, and maybe be part of the chamber and go to some networking events and kind of make yourself known out there, so that they know that you're looking for a job, and you could be like 6 months away from graduating and they go, okay, come see me when you're done because you're exactly what I want. So I think it's really important that they totally put themselves into this even before they graduate.
Yeah, and as we said before, we get a lot of companies that reach out to us. As I said, I've been here nearly 6 years, so I like to talk, as you may have gathered. And people like me to talk because I speak differently. So I go into a lot of organizations and say, hey, I've got students that need practicums, and how would it be and how can we work together? And I've done quite a lot of networking. So they reach out to me and say, hey, we've got this position coming up. Have you got any graduates, or is there anybody nearly graduating? So if I've got students that have just graduated or nearly graduating, I definitely send their resumes along to this company, and we get a lot of that. So it's good to know your neighbours, so to speak. So it's always good fun when you know your neighbours, and that works a lot as well. We get a lot of companies reaching out.
Yeah, and back to your point, Dominique, that I'll just reemphasize, you should be considering what job you want before you start a program.
Yes,
that's
definitely.
the conversation that is happening from day one to make sure that you're in the right program. And that's one of the reasons I mentioned at the beginning of the show. We're doing this free coding class. It's for a couple of reasons. It's obviously we want to promote the program, software and web developer. It's a new one for us last year. There's tons of jobs in it, but we don't want someone to go into the program that's not going to do well and is not going to be able to find a job. And so finding out what you're suited for, what you're going to be passionate about, to make sure you go into the right spot has an impact on whether you get hired, because it has an impact on whether you enjoy what you're doing and can be proficient in it. And so the coding class gives people a chance to check out, do I actually want to sit in front of a computer and do coding? And it literally, like, I can do a little bit of it. I don't want to be a coder. Like I do a little HTML, a little CSS, and I can design a website. But the idea of looking at code is infuriating to me. There's other people who are just like, just give me a computer screen and I will just go to town for hours. And I love it. And I love the pay that comes with it. And we help students explore those things in different ways. The coding class is an example where someone can go try it out before they actually go into a program. And that has an impact on whether you get hired, your passion for the job. So great points, both of you. The next question I've got is, and this is the second to last question, then we'll get into the questions you guys have been posting in. What is your best interview tip? And I'll give mine first, because this is the interview tip. All right. So best interview tip I've ever given, I've ever experienced, you may ever hear, I'm talking it up too much, is people love to talk about themselves. And so when you go into an interview, oftentimes you will be asked a bunch of questions and you're constantly thinking, how can I answer the questions? And most interviews are going to be 30 minutes or an hour. And one of the strategies is try and find a way to get the employer to talk more than you. Because if you can get the employer to talk more than you, they're going to ask less questions, which makes you not have to answer as many questions, but you're also naturally going to get them into a happy mood where they've got a good experience interviewing you. And so this is what it looks like. It looks like this simple question. Hey, Mr. or Mrs. Employer, I've just got a question right off the bat. Can you tell me why you're here? What's made you successful in this job? Why did you get into this business? Because what the person's going to do is they're going to start selling their company to you. They're going to start talking about the character traits and the work ethic and the things that go into it. And they're going to tell you about the culture. So it allows you to understand the business. 20 minutes could go by before they even ask you a question. And now they're selling themselves to you, and you've just flipped the interview around. So that's my best interview tip, is ask them.
That's a really cool one. I'm going to use that and give that to my students.
Yeah, ask the employer why they're there. Yeah, so there's my tip. But what are your two tips, Cress and Dominique?
I'm the wrong person to ask. I really am. I'm really bad in interviews. Obviously, dress for success. Dress in something that you're comfortable in, but that's smart as well. Dress for success. Make sure you're comfortable in whatever you're wearing. Yes, you want to dress and impress the employer, but make sure you're comfortable as well, because if you're not comfortable, you're going to be fidgeting. You're going to be thinking, oh my goodness me, these trousers are too tight, or this blouse is moving, or this I'm sweating and this blouse is showing all my sweat marks. So make sure you're comfortable in what you're wearing.
Yeah, that's so good.
That is what I'd say.
I will echo that. And even to a point, for a phone interview, I know there's a lot of Zoom interviews, dress up for a phone interview. There's something that happens when you put on a collared shirt or you put on a something nice where it changes things.
You feel nice. Yeah. Confidence.
But the practical side as well, like, I gotta double check. You don't want to put your arms up and be demonstrating something and have this like big.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the
and a lot of ladies' tops are not. A lot of ladies' tops are like satin or silk or cotton or some. And if they're to do that, it's going to show the mark. So dress comfortably in something sensible, but make sure you're comfortable and it's neat and tidy. And yeah, one of my other tips of information, which is not about jobs, but come to school and learn something that you're going to enjoy. Do not come and learn something that you think might be good and you can get a job. If you enjoy what you're learning, you enjoy the subject, you learn a lot more and get a lot more out of it. And when you do go for a job, it shows. And obviously something must show for when I've been for job interviews, because I love my job. I enjoy going to work every day because it's my passion. I enjoy making sure these students get to graduate and giving them their diplomas. So make sure you're learning something that you're going to enjoy. Dominique, over to you.
That's all right. So back to what you said, Jamie, about dressing, like even though it's a phone interview or whatever, a lot of people were working from home. And I remember in the very beginning, all of a sudden, all these tips were coming as to how do you work from home and still be motivated, kind of thing. And the number one thing was do the same as what you did when you went to work and got in your car. So get dressed, brush your teeth, and, like put the makeup on, like do all that because it'll just feel better. So I've done a lot of interviews in the past, and I think I'll just tell my pet peeve is that when you don't do your research. So you come to an interview and you haven't checked my website out, you haven't checked my Facebook page, you haven't checked anything. You just came to the interview and answered the the job description or the job detail and kind of got that down pat, but you didn't take that extra step to go, okay, what is this company really about? Is it somewhere I'd enjoy or even if the interview is in 5 days, be a customer, be someone that just come into the building or that sort of things if you're allowed to go in or whatever, but get an idea, get a feel, drive by the place, just to kind of do that type of research so that you actually are more comfortable. And you actually, when they ask a question, have you checked out the website? This is what we do. Do you have any idea what we do? No, I don't. Well, you didn't do your research. So even though what you do is in the job detail, it doesn't mean that you have seen specific projects that we've done. You haven't seen specific things that we've accomplished, that we've given back to the community, whatever it is, right? So I think the more research you do, the more comfortable you are, and the more comfortable the person that's interviewing is with you because you care.
It shows. Right? So, it does show.
Yeah, you just show that you care.
Unless you like me and I forget everything.
But you're 100% right. It's the same with resumes. And by the way, just if you're listening and you think we should do some training on resumes, obviously we provide that to our students, but we'll do some free training on how to build a resume if you guys want. But I get a question, or used to get a question all the time. Do I actually have to tailor my resume to the job? And the answer is 1000% yes. And then the response is, but there's like 50 jobs I want to apply for. I'm like, yes, you do it 50 times. And but that's a lot of work. Yes, it's a lot of work. And that's okay.
Yeah. Your resume is a working document.
Yeah, and so you may spend hours just tweaking it so that it matches the job description, but it increases the number of interviews that you get the first time, which impacts the likelihood of you getting interviewed by a job you actually want. But it's the same. Put in the work to figure out, what does the company do? What do they stand for? Who are the people? Create people on LinkedIn. Find out who the person is you're going to be interviewing with. Well, that's a lot of work. Yeah, it is.
Mm.
And it makes a difference because you'll get hired. But even though when you walk into that interview, you've got confidence because you actually know what business you're walking into, and you've got an idea of who you're talking to, and that's going to change how you interview and increase your likelihood of getting hired. So maybe we should put it together, like a how to build a resume and like how to interview resource. We should do that. Yeah, we should do that. Okay, Melissa, what's our last question, and then we'll get to the answering all the questions in the comments. We got one more, right?
Yes, I'm just
And
like
maybe we already answered this. I don't know.
I kind of think we did too, but I'm just writing this down so we don't forget, because we forget everything.
Okay, I'll ask the last question, guys, so we can, and you write that down. What's the difference? So we've got, on average, across Alberta, across all the programs, on average, 85% of our grads get jobs. And then actually in some programs and cities, it's 100%. And, but that is higher than industry standard, higher than expectation. So the idea is you come to Academy Learning, you will get a job. Like, the circumstances where someone doesn't get a job are very rare. I do want to preface that. But the question would be, what's the difference in our graduate? Like, what makes the difference between the 5% that just don't make it? Like, there are some people that go through our programs and they're not successful. Why is it that instead of just focusing on the negative, why is it that so many of our students actually get jobs aside from the things we've already talked about? Is there something that our graduates do better, or what's the difference?
I think our graduates are more prepared. We've got some fantastic courses. We've got some fantastic instructors, as I've said, and they make sure they're prepared for when they go out there in the big bad world, so to speak. But also, every campus is like a family. So we're there to say, look, you've got this. They come and tell us that they've got interviews, and I'm like, right, so have you looked at the company? What have they got a mission statement? What do they say? So we work on it together, we prepare for it together, and we look through things, and then they've got that confidence to go out there into that interview and say, yeah, I know your mission statement, it's X, Y, and Z, I know what you do. So it is a family, we are a family. As I said, a student rang me up from 4 years ago just to tell me how she's doing and how her kids are doing. We're a family, we care, and that's what makes us a little bit different. But we prepare our students for the workplace, and that is what's important. They're prepared when they go out there. Also, we have a lot of contacts, and a lot of our students, as I said, are hired from practicum because they know the caliber of students that we turn out. They know what they're educated in, and it's what they need in that company, and they get hired from practicums, or they get hired not long after practicum, or even if your course hasn't got a practicum, they get hired because they know what we've taught them and that they can do the job. So it's just about preparing and us being a family and all being there for that job interview. We're all preparing for it, not just the student. We're all there helping them.
Yeah, and Dominique, obviously the first answer is our students get jobs because of Elaine.
Yeah.
Elaine in Medicine Hat is a wonderful instructor who teaches incredibly well.
Yeah.
Anything else though, Dominique?
Yeah, well, what Chris says, like, where else do you get that? Like, honestly, you get prepared for that job interview. If a student is that engaged in their programs, they have to be engaged in their programs. They're going to go, hey, Chris, I got an interview in 2 days, and I know what to do, but I don't know what to do. Right?
Yeah.
Like, wow, when somebody can walk you through,
let's sit down and look at the company.
All the difference for not only that student, but for us. I mean, who knows? Like, we're pretty much networked in our communities. I could phone the person and go, hey, you got Sally coming in a couple of days. She's one of my best students. Where else would you get that, right? Without going through the program, getting prepared educationally, and with a practicum, if there's one in the program, and getting held hand throughout the program if you want to or if you need to, and then at the end go, hey, I know you prepared me for this, but now I'm nervous. Now it's like I've forgotten it all, kind of thing. Well, no, you haven't. It's all right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just
it's
a case of
amazing
being
to have
there,
that
walking
kind
them
of
through.
support
Yeah.
to pull that all together. And then after they get the job, and Cress is like cloud nine, they're on cloud nine, and everybody's like, okay,
Yeah.
celebrate.
Yeah.
But this doesn't just happen like once, every couple months. This happens every day. Like,
I've had 3 this
right?
week. 3
Yeah.
this week. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you
it's
can
not
start a
that-
program
it's not
anytime
normal,
and
right?
graduate.
Yeah, you can start today, you can start tomorrow, and then you graduate in however many weeks' time. And yeah, that's the one good thing as well about AOLCC is that you don't have to wait until the new semester starts. You can start with us whenever.
That's
And
the other
you graduate when you graduate. So yeah.
Yeah, that's the other thing, because you've already gone through this program, whether it's 43 weeks, 44 weeks, 51 weeks, you're ready to rock. Like, you have rocked this program. Now it's like this train's going to keep on going until I get a job. So you're almost in that as an individual. You're always just, that motivation is always there. There's no break. You don't get a summer break or a Christmas break, that kind of thing. You are steam train ahead, and all
The courses are condensed. There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot going off. They are condensed. That's why we can get you graduated in a CSAW program in 51 weeks, because we don't have summer break. So yeah, but they are intense. So prepared to learn a lot and be overwhelmed, and that's totally normal. But no, we're there. We're a family, and we look out for us family. So I have lots of children.
Yes. Yeah, I know. It's something so unique. When I met you, you're like, all my kids. I'm like, how many kids do you have? You're like, no, my students. Like, all my kids.
350 at the minute. 354, I think I've got at the moment.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, we're actually, I just looked at the time. We're like out of time, and I know there's a bunch of questions that have already been put in here. So I know, and Melissa, you're writing them down. I'm gonna spare us all, and I'm gonna rapid fire answer a couple, and then tell you what we're gonna do. So first of all, David had asked, if you've been away from the workforce for 2 years due to pandemic COVID, how does it affect you getting a job? How would you address it on an interview, and how would you reflect it on your resume? I'm going to give you a short answer now and a longer answer later. The short answer now is I was in a conversation with a corporate training expert yesterday, and was talking about someone who had been out of work for a year and a half, and was talking to, it was at an employment agency or an unemployment firm or something like that. And they said that's actually like quite average and normal. There are people that have been out of work for 3 years. And it is because of everything that's gone on. There used to be a really big stigma with a gap in your resume. And right now, it's not as big of a deal as it used to be. I guess that's the short answer. So you don't need to be as worried, because employers are a lot more understanding of everything that's happened. But I don't have time to go through how do you actually build it into a resume or address it in an interview right now. There's also a question about, I already have a diploma for MOA. I didn't get a job, but now I'm taking CSW. Where can I apply with my certificates? And the quick answer for that is, if it was with us that you got those diplomas, which I assume it is, connect with your student support services rep, which might be Crest or might be somebody else, and let's help you network and find a role. Let's partner with you and provide that service to you. Do we have a pharmacy assistant course? No, we're actually looking to get it. We have a medical office assistant, which is similar, but we're applying for pharmacy assistant. What's that?
It's not really similar, Jamie.
Well, sorry, it's similar as in it's in the healthcare industry.
It's in the healthcare industry.
It's not the same job. That's not what I meant to imply. Thank you for calling me on that. We are applying for pharmacy assistant.
Yes, we are.
The ability to work in the healthcare sector in an administrative role is possible, but not in a pharmacy yet. Does every program have a practicum? No, sort of. That's something to ask our admissions advisors. It depends what program you're interested in. And in some cases, we will create practicums when we can for programs in specific cities. So it totally depends, but the short answer is not every program has a practicum. And last one, if someone wanted to relocate, can you do your practicum in another area, town, or city, or even province? And what does CSA mean? CSA, I meant to say CSW. Community Service Worker is CSW. Or Community Service Worker with Addictions would be CSAW. But the question about relocating, I believe we've had people do a search for practicum in other states, right, Chris?
The only issue we've got is, like, I've literally just got a student that's moved out of province. So they're not covered by us with WCB out of province, because we're in Alberta and they've moved to BC. So they're not covered that way, but there is things that we can do to help and facilitate that. So, yeah.
Yeah, and we've got Academy of Learning. We've got campuses all across Canada. So we do have a network where if you are going to move, we could connect, like let's say you're moving to Toronto, we could connect you with the local Academy of Learning Toronto campus, and they could work through their internal network. That is all the time we have for questions, though. I know that was really rapid fire. That was the short answer to everything. The long answer is any questions that have been put in here, we're going to put those together. We're going to put together a hiring guide, and we're going to answer the questions in there. And probably, Melissa, you can hold me accountable to this. We'll probably just answer some of these on our social media posts. So if you guys are not following Instagram or TikTok yet, follow us. It's at MyAOLCC on both. At MyAOLCC on both. And we're doing little videos. And so we'll answer some of these questions just in like a little video while you're waiting. But we are going to develop a hiring guide from all the resources that we have. We'll kick that out. Again, if you want to win $25 and you have not commented, put a question in here. That question will get answered on social media in the next couple weeks, and it'll help us build our hiring guide to share with you for free. And by asking a question on this video about hiring or a job, you get entered to win $25. And I believe we'll probably give a bonus. How about a TikTok bonus? Is that okay, Melissa? Can I do that?
Yeah, we could do whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you follow us on TikTok and put a comment on any of our TikTok videos, you get an extra entry. So if you have so go to MyAOLCC, follow us, and comment on any video so we know who you are. Any video on there, any comment will get an extra entry to win the $25. So you get one entry because you asked a question here. You get another entry if you do anything with us on TikTok and we find your comment. That'd give you 2 entries to win $25. Melissa does the draw tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning.
And we'll contact you and announce it on social.
Yep.
And let me just answer this question. Alicia asked right at the end. Software and web development is a new course. So what kind of networking have you done in the job force for it? So I'll give again a short answer because we don't have time. But this program is getting promoted through our networks across Canada. It's a really big one. And we're actually doing a big employer campaign. I believe it's next week or the week after. So the thing is, what's happening with technology and tech careers right now, and if you want to learn more about tech careers, was it 2 weeks ago, Melissa, we did a tech live stream? Go find it from 2 weeks ago. It's a live stream on our Facebook, on each of our Facebook pages, all about tech careers. One of the things that's happening is people are spending money on what's called digital transformation. So it's the same employers that are hiring within IT. So companies in general are spending a lot of money to transform and adopt new technology. So it's not just the tech companies that are hiring. So we're able to leverage the employers we currently have and our network that we're doing this big employment campaign for in the next couple of weeks. The only difference is we're now not just supplying accountants, we're also supplying our tech graduates. So we don't necessarily have to do additional networking, but we are, if that answers.
Yeah,
okay. Anyway.
In Red Deer, I just want to add to that. In Red Deer, we actually had a small company reach out to us for a web design student. So they reach out to us in the community. So they do. Businesses reach out for us.
Yes, and Tarlin, you are right on both sides. Doctors' offices, hospitals, medical clinics. I posted, if you look back up in the comments, there's an interview with Elaine from our Medicine Hat campus, and she talks all about the types of jobs in the program for medical office assistant. So if you watch that, she'll answer more of your questions. Anyway, this has been great. Thanks so much, guys, for answering questions. Cress, Dominique, thanks for joining us. I apologize to everybody. It's 6 minutes after 2.
We started
And
10 minutes later than normal, so
we
I
did
think
start
it's
10
okay.
minutes later.
Yeah.
But we'll be live again next week. And I don't know what we're talking about next week, but join us again and we'll do something new. Other than that,
Awesome.
can you hear the music?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, all right. Thanks, everybody, and have a wonderful week. See ya.